All right, we're officially live right now. I'm about to go ahead and get the intro started and everything.
She like go crazy, go crazy, go crazy, go crazy. When I'm in it, I go crazy. That little talking shit don't fade. In the game, and I feel like McGrady. Telling myself, hey, they only hit me up when niggas need me.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of New Era 4-0 Podcast. And it's your host, Mason. And of course, you know, I had to bring in a special guest with me today, Coach Howard. How you feeling today, Coach Howard?
Feeling wonderful. The Big Mason. The Big Mason.
Yeah, so sorry for my appearance, everybody. We just had something happen at the last second, but y'all know how we do. So we're going to do what we always do. We're going to start locking out people in, start sharing this, start getting people ready to be able to hear your story, hear who you are, hear different things about you. So right now, just introduce yourself a little bit, let the people know a little bit about you, and then we're going to go from there.
All right, all right. Thank you for having me. First of all, everybody calls me Coach Howard. Been coaching baseball, playing baseball for over 40 years. Just a regular dude, Christian man, serve God. I serve him hard, and just family man, and I just love life.
So out of all of the sports and things, what do you feel like is your favorite sports that you coach so far?
Oh, it has to be baseball. That's me. I played baseball. I love baseball, and they all, as far as coaching, is all the same. But it's something about baseball for me that just stands out.
I was about to say, I thought it would have been basketball, maybe. I don't know. That's what I thought. But baseball, you play basketball too, so.
Yeah. Well, it's not based on just success. It's about my love of the game.
Oh, okay. So I also want to ask you a few questions as well. So the first question I want to ask you, and mind you, we getting all our people in here and stuff like that. Trying to make sure we got enough people on here for everybody to join in. Make sure I check the comments. So what's one thing that most people don't know about you? Everybody know Coach Howard, but what's one thing that you can tell everybody about you that most people probably don't know?
Wow. Good question. One thing that people probably don't know about me is how competitive I am. I'm super competitive at anything.
So you got any stories about some of your most competitive moments?
Yeah, I think you know one of them. Basketball. For my church, Brian played for us. He was our point guard, and we made it to the championship that year. Will Brown was our head coach. And I was assisting him, and got to the end, down to the wire, where we were down by 2 or so, and coach called the play, designed the play for us with a few seconds left on the clock. And I'm going, we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game and win our first championship. And for some reason, one of our players decided to go rogue, and he did his own thing. You see, Brian, he already knows what I'm talking about. He went rogue, and that right there just it let so much air out of me because the competitive nature in me. We wanted to win that game, and it's to this day. How long ago was that, Brian? You were what? Between 10 and 13?
I was about to say like 13,
And
12.
yeah, so 20 years ago, it's still a bitter taste in my mouth from that. We haven't been back to the championship since with the older teams.
Oh, you had to tell that story out of all
Yeah, that
stories.
story, that's the one that got me. That one was a dagger.
I mean, I feel like a lot of the moments you really can't like. I always say, man, I wish I could go back, but who don't say
Right,
that?
right. You can't relive it. You just learn from it. Lessons learned.
Yeah, and I just really feel like sometimes you just never really know. You never really know how things are gonna pan out. But I feel like I won a lot of like trophies and stuff growing up, so
Right.
I can't really complain too much about not winning that one big one, even though that would have been the big one. But
But you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like AI. A lot of individual trophies, but couldn't get that championship. So it's just it's just how it goes for some people.
and I hate that too because I really
Yeah.
want AI to get like a championship ring. Always wanted him to get one, but I don't really feel like his career was like not a success though, just because they didn't get the ring.
Yeah. It was, but you know, he preferred to have one. He probably turned in some of those individual trophies for the championship.
No, I definitely would too. So, all
No
right,
doubt.
so I want to get into some topics. I want to get into some topics. Last week we had on Coach Jam Coaching. I believe you know who that is. You can let the people know if you want to who that is to
That
you.
would be my wife,
Right. So we
Joyce
got
Mason.
on the other side. We want to talk. We want to talk to the fellas today. I kind of want to give you the floor to open up some different things that you talk about because you also have a platform as well that you do with a bunch of men, different age and everything. I would love for you to share that with my platform and let them know like some of the things you talk about. And even if you want to open up some topics now, we can go ahead and get something started like
Mhm.
male ego or sensitivity or just all that type of stuff.
All right. Thanks for that shout out. I do a men's rap session twice a month. We do the first and the third Monday of each month at 7 p.m. and it's open to men. And we just have raw topics and rare topics that men don't necessarily want to talk about. But it all started based on your mother, Joyce Mason, doing a rap session. And women, I said, women just, they can get together and talk. Why don't men do that? I said, because what we do is we pretend our situation doesn't exist, or we bury our head in the sand and we think that's the solution when actually that's the problem. And that's how this birthed. A friend of mine posted something on Facebook. Man, I wish I could just talk to people the way I want to, something to that effect. And I says, there we go. And from there, March the 7th, 2021, we started, or 22 rather, we started and been going every first and third Monday since then. What we're working on this year, we've been working specifically on a topic, and it just came to me one morning. It doesn't just happen. And I woke up out my bed and I'm like, what doesn't just happen? Success and failure, marriage and divorce, careers, and then the lack of career, things like that. And so I said, we need to touch on that. It doesn't just happen. So I've been just talking all year on things that don't just happen. It's a process that takes place for either direction. For you to lose that job, to get that job and keep it, there's a process for that marriage to sustain that marriage or for that marriage to fail. Something takes place. So it doesn't just happen. There's a process. And we need to talk about that.
So what are some of those things within that process?
All right. So some things the first thing you need to do is acknowledge there's a situation. You have to acknowledge it. You can't just, like I said, bury your head in the sand and pretend it does not exist. So if you're having relationship issues, I don't want to just speak marriage, relationship issues, and you're dealing with something consistently, you're dealing with something, you want to maybe take a step back and look and say, there's really something here. A lot of us guys, we are we're logical, and we think 1 + 2 = 3. Or if you do A plus B, that will equal C. But then you may be in a relationship with that female, and I always say A plus B is not going to equal C just because it's Tuesday. It doesn't have to be logical because they're emotional beings. And it's just today I'm not feeling C, I'm feeling D or E. And that's just how it goes. And sometimes you have relationship issues just like that. Something just, simple as that, where they feel.
Why do you feel like it's hard for a lot of men to like express their feelings? Do you feel like they don't think that people care, or like what are some of the things that you heard talking to a lot of men, mentoring a lot of teenagers and young men, and even talking to some people your age and a little older? Like, what are some
Hey,
things
hey,
that?
hey, watch that. Your age stuff. Watch that.
What are some things
No, I get
that?
you. I get you.
Yeah, what's some things a lot of people that you hear a lot of people say their reasons for not wanting to like say their feelings as
The
far as
first thing is like you're saying, it's the ego. That macho man that kicks in. I can't let anybody think that I'm soft, that I'm less of a man, so I don't share anything, and it just ruins us. We internally we implode. You see that happening a lot. Look at the jail system. A lot of brothers held that stuff in. They didn't talk it out. They didn't get it out, and it's like a boiling pot. Things boil over at 212 degrees, and a lot of us are sitting at 211. And that one little thing, bam, we explode.
yeah, I agree. A lot of my friends go through that same thing as well. Just you never really know when to express, when to hold back. I feel like it's a lot of pressures as men or as just males, especially black males and stuff.
Right.
Like, what is some advice you got for like young black men that might not have like their dad in their life or just have that role model? Like, what is some advice that you would have for them?
Right. Yeah, you have to have somebody that you can bounce stuff off of and just, a listening ear. My pastor tells me that you need to listen twice as much as you talk. And I think that's a good thing. So we need somebody that's going to listen and really hear. There's a difference in listening and hearing. I can hear the TV in the background, but I'm not listening to it. Listening takes intellect. So a lot of us, we don't have that person to listen to our concerns, and we just run to the first person that wants to hear it. And sometimes you'll get bad advice from people, well-meaning, but it's bad advice. You need to find a person that you respect and you value and talk to that person honestly. Because a lot of times we talk to a person one-sided, my side, but you got to talk from the other side too. What are my issues that I'm having that I continue, maybe for a situation that I'm continuing to repeat the pattern over and over and over? You got to look at yourself as well. So don't just look from one perspective. Wait till they hear what you have to say, and then you have to reverse the roles and you have to listen and take that advice they give you.
I appreciate that nugget. Everybody that's just joining in the live, appreciate you joining another episode of New Era 410 Podcast. We got Coach Howard in the building, God-fearing man, coach of many different sports. What else you did? Pillar of the community. Go on. Definitely.
Your father, don't forget that part.
Yeah, my pops. Shout out Joshua Edmonds, man. Hey fam, I'm feeling good. That's good, man.
What's up, Josh?
I was having a rough little day today too. The last couple of days, to be honest. So I'm actually feeling better too. I'm not sure if it's because I ate some food or not. You never know. But what's up, Josh, man? Appreciate you joining right now. I do want to ask another question. I feel like I'm gonna keep saying I want to ask a question, but I kind of wanted to pick your brain this episode and really, dig deeper into who
Okay.
you are as a person. So this segment that we do is called the Get to Know You segment. So this is a segment where we ask you a bunch of various random different questions and stuff, and pretty much you get to answer the questions. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what was the worst job you ever had?
I would say Chicken George. Not that it was a horrible job, but it was just so funky. I came home smelling like that food every night. it was disgusting.
So explain what Chicken George is for the people that might not know.
Chicken George is KFC. It's the southern version of KFC. They had that spicy, or like Church's Chicken or Popeyes, restaurants like that. So that actually was in 1984. I was working at Chicken George when I was in school, actually 83 and 84. And it was just, maybe that's why it was so bad, because I shouldn't have been working full time and going to school. But it was a big deal coming home smelling like that fried chicken every day.
No, I be feeling like the people that work in the crab store can relate to that. Like the people that work in the crab store, because I know it's hard to get that smell off of you no matter what you do. So another question I want to ask you is, if you had to choose just 2 songs, you were stranded on a deserted island, and you had just of course you had your food and all that, but if you only could listen to 2 songs, what would those 2 songs be, and why would you choose those 2 songs?
Wow. Okay. I know one song right away. The second song, because for those that may not know, I'm a former DJ. So a lot of songs I could pick. I'm gonna go ahead with my one that I know for sure. That's Douglas Miller. It's a spiritual song, Christian song called "My Soul Is Anchored." I say that song because it speaks so well to how I live. As the storms come, but your soul is still anchored in the Lord. The winds are going to blow and all that. So it tells a good story about how to hold on when you're going through. Another song, one of my favorite songs, I guess, would be Billy Ocean. Suddenly. It's a song that I think about my wife when I sing it. Oh, that's something else y'all don't know I sing. But I'll sing that and I think about my wife. I used to think that love was just a first fairy tale until that first hello, until that first smile. And if I had to do it all again, I wouldn't change a thing, because this love is everlasting. And you might want to Google that song. It's a nice song. Y'all can use them lyrics on your girl.
Yeah. I was just about to say, there's some smooth lyrics right there.
Yeah.
So if you can bring back, not necessarily that they gone and they not with us. And shout out to Sean. He said, "What's up, y'all?" Stacy said, "Hey fam, how's everyone feeling tonight?" We doing good, Stacy. You want to let Stacy know how you feeling tonight?
Stacy, I'm feeling good, Stacy. I'm feeling a lot better that there's a female on the call, on the podcast. We need that perspective.
Definitely. Stacy is always one of our usuals that get on here. And you remember Lord Sean, that's Sean's sister. Sean also on here. Stacy said, "I can't complain."
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's another one of mine, yeah.
Yeah, can't complain. She said, "I'm here."
All right now.
But Stacy, you done sidetracked my brain, girl.
You were saying if I could bring back something.
Oh yeah, so if not necessarily saying that they're not here, it can be somebody that's not here, or it can be somebody that's just not in the music game anymore. I need you to bring back one artist from your childhood that you feel like this generation we need it. Like maybe because they make soulful music, or maybe because they make impactful music, or they change the culture in your mind. Like, who's that one artist you will bring back that you feel like our generation we really need? Like we can benefit from listening to them as an artist.
No doubt about it. Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy Pendergrass teach y'all how to love. That's right. Teddy Pendergrass had the women falling. No, man, that's a whole nother category. Yeah, Teddy Pendergrass. definitely somebody from me growing up that he had an impact.
So what was it about him though?
Google him. Google one of his live performances. Teddy knew how to work the crowd. He literally had the women throwing panties up on the stage. Y'all excuse my frankness, but that's how he was. Yeah, he was like that.
My man's had them throwing panties on the stage.
Yeah.
So was he more of the Rick James type of performer,
Oh,
or he was
no.
more of like a? I
No,
know Rick
he
James
was
was
a
a
lover.
dancer.
Nah, he was a lover, man. He sang the ballads that the women, it just drew the women. I say it like this: if you took a woman on a date to a Teddy Pendergrass concert, she probably ended up your girl or your wife.
Or your baby mama.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He did all the work for you.
All right. So I want to ask you. You got to stay on a 3-day trip. 3-day trip of anywhere in the world, all expenses paid. Where you going? Who you taking? You can take 2 different people.
Shoot. You know your wife. Oh, your mother. And he let me go without her. You know that. Man.
So where would you go though?
Wow. That's what I'm trying to think. Because I'm not that type. I'm real, y'all know, I'm easy to please. I can just go to Virginia and I'm good. But I would say Hawaii. I haven't been to Hawaii. And I would just like to see what that atmosphere is like. And I don't know. I guess I have to just tell somebody to do rock, paper, scissors to join me and your mother. Oh, everybody get mad.
Yeah. Good answers. Stacy said Hawaii, and I'm taking Kels and mom. Kels is her man. So once again, shout out to everybody that's coming on the live right now, that's joining the episode. We are live from 3 different Facebook platforms. Shout out to my host, Amora. She's not here with us right now, but still gotta shout her out. Make sure y'all go follow her on platforms and all that. Shout out Coach Howard, man. Sometimes I be wanting to call you a mental health advocate, but I know that you don't have that title specifically. But when it comes to like mental health, like do you know any advice, or do you know different things of, have you been through things, you feel me, dealing with mental health, or anybody that like how do you deal with those type of things?
Okay, that's a good question. I don't suffer from mental health challenges, but we all have mental health challenges. See, I don't suffer. That's the key part I said. But we all have mental health challenges. A good example would be for those that I don't know this about me. Coming up, I had 4 sisters. I was the only male. So when I was younger, my father wanted me to be tough. He didn't want me to act like the female. I'm not calling anybody out or anything like that, but this is how it was for me coming up. And so he would ask me to hit him in his jaw hard as I could, over and over and over. I'm about 3 years old. And after that, because I was scared of my father because he was physically abusive, he asked me if I could take that back. I didn't know what he meant. In my day, you didn't say no to your father. So I just said, yeah. He cracked me in my jaw and knocked me across the floor. Ever since then, I had anger issues. And it stayed with me, and I didn't realize it was him that I was angry at all those years. So growing up, funny guy, laughy, jokey, but I had moments of anger that just flared up on me out of the blue. And so, yeah, I don't suffer from mental health challenges, but I definitely had some mental health challenges. And that is something that took me about 25 to 30 years to overcome. My relationship with God is what helped me to get to that point where I could forgive him. But it's the extreme. I was so extreme with that for those, because y'all don't know, when I was in high school, I was like $160. So after I graduated, I'm thinking about my dad and I'm lifting weights the whole time. I want to see if he can handle it when I catch up with him, right? This is my mindset. And so by the time I was 21, remember I said I was a buck 60. By the time I was 21, I was 210 pounds from lifting weights, thinking about my father. I was going nuts. I was going berserk. Miss Joyce Mason just came in. She's joining me.
Hello.
Yeah, and so that became challenging for me to overcome that because I didn't know how to deal. I didn't understand the explosions I was having, just angry over little things every now and then, until one day I came across him through my wife. She exchanged phone numbers with him and we got to talking, and I really saw the rage that was in me that day. I thought I was okay, but I wasn't. And there was some rage, real rage, and I had to address that. I had to do some introspective searching within, see what I needed to do, because I was ready to hurt him, and I was ready to do something that I had no business doing. Just being real.
No, I felt that one though. If you want to read off a couple little comments to you. Hawaii is a beautiful and I would recommend anyone who has a chance to take it. Best experience I have ever had.
Okay.
And I have Stacy said I had many mental health problems, but I never suffer from it. I embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the way y'all use the words in a certain dynamic. So I like that. But I feel like a lot of people these days have many situations where they really don't have the outlets. So like, what are some different things that a lot of males can do, or just people in general? Because it's not just like a sexist thing. Everybody needs some type of resources as far as the things that they deal with, and they might not be able to talk about them. Like, do you have any resources that you can throw out there?
Yeah, I don't have specific resources. That would be your mother. NAMI and all those type places. How do you spell that? NAMI, NOM. It's something like a NAMI. That's the big one that a lot of people know. They deal with it. But for me personally, you have to have a person that you can just talk to. I don't have an organization that I go to or anything like that. I have a person. I have a couple of real close friends that I can talk to about anything, not just associates. I'm talking about somebody that you can just share anything. It's going to stay with them. They're going to give you the raw truth. They're not going to just sugarcoat it and try to please you because you're feeling a certain way. When you get a friend like that, keep them. A lot of us kick them to the curb because they ain't saying what we want to hear, but keep that friend. And so just get yourself somebody that you can go to at any time that'll listen and that'll give you an honest feedback, the things you need to hear, not want to hear.
Yes. So Nettie said, "Hey y'all." Brandon said,
Hey, Nettie.
Brandon said, Brandon Lavar Brandon.
What?
Brandon
Okay.
He said, "Agree." He agreed with what you said. Sean said, "That's my man's boot." Stacy said, "Yes, indeed." Brandon also said, "People who tell you what you want to hear are not for you."
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Watch that. You don't have to get rid of them, but you just keep them at a certain distance. You don't share everything with them.
Yeah, so while we got a couple males in here and a couple females in here, ladies, I want y'all to take advantage of this time to ask any question y'all don't understand about the male species. He don't know everything. But
You open the floodgate.
Feel free to ask any type of questions. This is an older male, you feel me, than our generation. He is experienced, you feel me, marriage for how many years?
35 years married.
35 years of marriage. So any questions y'all want to ask, feel free. And fellas, if y'all got any questions y'all want to ask about mental health, and if y'all just want to vent to them real quick, or just anything of that nature, like feel free in the comments to make sure y'all go ahead and do that. But while we waiting for y'all questions, we gonna ask him another one of our weird questions. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to ask you is, what is the first thing that you think about when you wake up in the morning? Literally, the first
God,
thing that pops on your mind.
God, no doubt about it. God, first thing in the morning. It's the last thing I do before I go to bed at night. I pray. And because we don't know if we're going to wake up in the morning. And so we pray and ask God, if you decide to wake me in the morning, I'm going to give you the praise for doing it. Because a lot of people think that they woke themselves up or the alarm clock woke them up. It wasn't an alarm clock, because you can take that alarm clock to the graveyard. Not one of them people going to get up. That was God that woke you up. And so that's the first thing on my mind every morning and every night. The last thing at night. Not trying to be churchy, but I'm just being real. That's for me.
All right, ain't nothing wrong with your response. Your response is your response. But I did want to ask a question that I seen somebody ask on here. Sean wanted to know, man, what's the secrets to marriage?
Woo. Uh-oh, she's looking at me. She's like, you better get it right. A lot of honesty, a lot of conversation, and no doubt about it, unconditional love or sacrificial love. Because people may not understand unconditional or sacrificial love. You can see that.
So what is the difference between those loves that you just named?
Unconditional love. That's the love that only God can give. He loves us unconditionally. I put conditions on people. We all do. I love you until you cross this line. That's a condition. With sacrificial love, it gives. I love that it just gives. And you put yourself second. And that's I can actually base that on scripture too. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, right? So that's a sacrificial love and an unconditional love, all wrapped up in God. I just learned this stuff from the word. And a lot of stuff I talk about, it's not my own thoughts. Just putting in my own words what he already said.
Got you. Stacy said I fail at it. I fail at this sometimes, but I do praise him most days.
Mm.
Appreciate your honesty.
That's right. That's right. But God understands the heart. It's not about your words coming out your mouth. The words are just words, really. What is in here is what matters. You have the relationship with him. He knows the heart. He understands.
Brandon said, "Pop spitting hot fire." Aunt Michelle on here. That's J Rock mom's. She's
Okay.
on here. She's watching. She said, "Amen."
All right.
She also watched Miss Joyce episode as well.
Oh, good.
Stacy also had a comment. She said, "The secret to marriage, knowing that marriage is a sacrificial love, that both parties fight for each other constantly, keep people out of your problems, and keeping a spiritual bond between the both of you."
Preach. Better get out on here next week.
Yeah, so
that was good.
that's what Stacy said. Brandon said, "Pops, why you sitting in the crib with all that Ravens nonsense?"
You know why? Because I knew he was coming on. I don't own any San Fran gear. But tell him that's my number 2 team anyway.
Yeah. Sean said, "I definitely feel him on that. Definitely."
Yeah. Yeah. And your mom just reminded me too. You got to lower your expectations, because sometimes we set high expectations and they can't attain that. You set a higher expectation for your spouse than you do for yourself. That's not real. So you have to set real expectations. What are some practical things that your spouse can do? Don't put all this, they're going to take me to Hawaii every 3 months and all that. That's not real. I'm just using that example since we do it out there. But marriage, it's work. I'm not going to pretend it's not. You're bringing 2 different personalities together. The male and the female coming together God designed us differently. Like I said, they said men are from Mars and women are from Venus. That's so true. And so God has this funny math where he takes one man and one woman and he brings them together and they become one. So 1 + 1 in his math is 1. And so we got to work at being one. If you really look at it, I always say this. I'm focusing on God. My wife, when she focuses on God, we both going towards him together. That's where we get that triangle. It's like you starting off separate, but if you're walking towards him, you both, and that's how you become one. See how we join together? I just want to throw that in there real quick. It's not easy, but it's more difficult without God being in the picture.
All right. Stacy said, I got married once. We both lack at this, and I became one with God, and he spoke into me that love comes from within before you can love anyone else.
Yes, absolutely. Gotta love yourself first. Yeah.
Then you also go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just saying, because when you learn how to love yourself, then you know how to love. You can't give what you don't have. How can you love another person when you're not even loving yourself? It's almost impossible.
Nice. And shout out to Team Butcher Productions. They said Coach Howard with the exclamation. I think that might be one of your peoples. Shout out.
All right.
Appreciate you. Appreciate
All
you
right.
joining New Era 410 podcast. This is our daily check-in. For the people that's on here for the first time, this is our daily check-in. Wednesday is like the middle of the week. Everybody, you know how it is, man. You feel me? Sometimes you can have a terrible beginning to the week, and then you just get on this episode, or you just listen, and man, you feeling better after the end of this episode. Like, so that's why we like to do this episode, because it's not just me and Coach Howard on here. It's about the people in the comments. That's why I love that.
Right.
We can interact with each other, and y'all get to ask questions, and that's the best part about this platform, because it's real. It's not just something where we can get on here and just throw topics out where we can just fuss at each other and get a bunch of views and likes. It's real. It's really going to help people, and that's my favorite part about having these Wednesday episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to take this time out to shout out our sponsor, ORA Clothing. You can get any type of merch from ORA Clothing, from hats, socks, underwear, blankets, skull caps, scarves, the whole 9 yards. www.ORA Clothing. You can see it right below, right there. Yep, y'all see it right there on the screen. ORA Clothing. Shout out Digger World. Make sure if you ever need any videography, photography, you hit up In the Moment. These are all our sponsors. Once again, this is an episode from our daily check-in. Make sure everybody that's on this live, do me a favor, just share it. If you just share this live one time, that's another section of people that might be able to use this information that we are giving out to everybody, or just use these positive vibes. But make sure y'all like and share this episode on y'all stories, on y'all timelines, whatever. I got another question that I want to ask you, but this question is more towards the random side that I was telling you about earlier. So tell me about one food that you tried and you would never, ever, ever, ever eat it again.
You know me, I don't eat anything anyway. That would have to be hog mogs and chitlins. I can't eat that again. Knowing what it is now, as a child, I didn't know. Woo! I can't do that again. No.
J-Rock said you geeking for that one. So what you saying? You still like them, J-Rock? Oh, he said, yeah, they good. I can't agree with him on that.
I know they can make them taste good. I just know what it is.
He said he know what it is too, but they still good. Like,
I know. I didn't say they taste terrible. I just say I won't eat them again. Oh boy.
All right. So alive or past, no, and no money issues, right? Which musician would you love to see perform live?
Oh, wow. And
You
he
can
hit
take
me
your
with
time
stuff.
on that one.
Yeah, I
You
ain't
can
thought
take your
about it. You
time on
listen.
that one. Yeah, we like to switch it up and get it a little random.
You know, one of the artists, one of my favorite artists is Tony Braxton. I like Tony Braxton. I really do.
And you never got to see her perform live. That would be the person
Nope.
you would want to see perform live.
Yeah, I really would. She is very talented, and I like the lyrics of her songs.
Okay, that's because you want her to sing to you. Don't man. Hey, we going to you like.
Hey, your mother standing right here, Will.
Yeah, we going to you. I can feel her shadow from over here.
She said she didn't know that. We just breaking news.
So yeah, that's what we like about this podcast. So if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh man, see, you ready to make me sin.
You gonna
I
be
guess,
robbing banks?
yeah. You know, it's like I can. What do they call it? Where you can like teleport yourself from one place to another. You know, through portals and stuff.
Teleportation. Yeah, that's a
Yeah, you
power.
know, I'll be doing so, not just banks. I'll be messing with some of this politics stuff. Where I'll be in there and then gone. Oh boy.
No,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would say teleportation. Even Cabrid just said the same thing to me just now.
Right.
She said, I was just thinking that when he said it. Like, I
Right.
would sure teleport. Mm.
Woo, boy, there's so many things running through my head right now. So many people, man.
Right. This one gonna take you back. If you could have dinner with anybody in the world from across history, meaning like a historian, somebody that
Wow.
you know made an impact in our world's history,
Hmm.
who would it be and why?
Martin Luther King. I would
Ooh,
just like to have a conversation with him about, because he was a thinker and how God spoke to him like that. You know, he saw the future. It's just a man to sit down and just pick his brain a little bit. Like, how did you come up with a movement like this, man? Wow.
he know that we needed it. Like he probably was tired of it, and so
Yeah.
he ain't want his kids to have to grow up. And I think it's crazy how you can sacrifice like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but definitely, yeah, somebody like that for sure. Had a direct impact on my life.
All right, so we're gonna go to the comment section right now. We're gonna go ahead and read off some of the stuff that everybody was saying. So Stacy said calamari is one of the things that she ate before and she can never eat again. Sean said oysters.
Yeah.
So Brandon said pop, try octopus, squid, and snail.
No.
He said
No.
thank me later.
No. I watch your mother eat that stuff. No, thank you.
He ain't with it. He ain't with it, Brandon.
No.
So the person that Stacy chose was Whitney Houston. I believe that was the question with who's the person you want to see perform live. I believe Whitney Houston was her answer. She said her power would be invisibility because I could be in and out and nobody would know. The same thing you said. Yo, it's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she also said Martin Luther King as far as her answer too.
Oh, good.
So yeah, we got some more for you. We like to ask these questions because I feel like it's not like your standard questions where you just sitting there and it's all serious and all that.
Yeah.
We like to let you get loose and enjoy
Oh, you
yourself.
know I'm loose. I'm ready for the loose.
So, what's your favorite place that you have been on this earth, like travel wise?
Favorite place?
Yes.
I would have to say my trip I just did to Cancun, Mexico. It was awesome.
Tell us about that. I've never been there.
Man, we went there in September. The weather was still hot. I'm not crazy about hot weather, but it was okay. And it's just beautiful where we stayed anyway. The water's just crystal blue, and the people are so nice there. we didn't run across one negative person. We were there for like 4 or 5 days. So it was just, and everybody I've spoken to you about Cancun said the same thing. The economy there is different from ours. I guess one of our dollars is maybe like $10 for the, I don't know, it's somewhere, highlight. And so we were like rich people going there. You tip somebody $5, they'll bring you 20 gallons of water and whatever you ask for. 2 gallons of ice cream, 50 cookies, anything else. Yeah, so Cancun, Mexico. I haven't been to many places like that. We've done a lot of cruises, all the Bahamas and things like that, but that place stood out to me.
If you can give a 10-minute presentation on any subject, what subject would it be?
Oh, goodness. My biggest subject will have to be getting a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm well versed in that, and I understand the difference it made in my life.
What would be some of the things that some of you, like, if it was like a book, what would be like some of the names of the chapters? You don't got to go too deep into the details, but what would be some of the chapters of your presentation? If it was
shoot. I ain't worried about talking about my drinking issues in the past and how he delivered me from that. Not trying to change yourself because you really can't. And a lot of us hold ourselves back trying to change ourselves. So you can't change yourself would be one of my chapters. You can't, if you could, while you're still there. That might be another chapter. But, so things like that, just being real. Like I just said, I was the DJ back in the day, so I always say I was the party. That could be a chapter. I was the party. And so just being real, authentic, and true. Yes, that's the way I am with my guys on the rap session. I just talk about me. I'm very transparent.
And I like that you're transparent because this is one of my favorite interviews because I don't feel like I gotta really think too hard as far as figuring out if I want to ask you this question or not ask you this question. But the question I want to ask you is what is the best compliment you ever had from someone?
Oh, wow. Whew. I guess that would be, they compliment me for making it 35 years in a marriage because they know that's work. And that's a big compliment because not many people, matter of fact, 35 years married, not counting the years unmarried before that. So we're in the 40s, staying together.
How you take that compliment? Like, how you just was like humble about it, or you was like,
yeah, I try to be. I try to be, but sometimes you just gotta say thank you. It's work. You just gotta be honest. It wasn't easy. A lot of people think you get married. Oh, look at them. They 35 years later. Look at, man. This is something I teach marriage ministry, my wife and I. And one of the things we talk about is one of the reasons we are not divorced is because we both didn't want it at the same time. Something was that. It's not like nothing ever went wrong. It's just we didn't know how to deal with it. That's one of the reasons, one of the things that pushed us towards getting into marriage ministry. How are we going to fix this? Because we can't do it on our own. Because we would have if we could.
Yeah. So we down to our last 10 minutes of the show. We like to ask our guests, did it even feel like an hour so far?
No, and I want to share something too before I get off here. So let me know when you give me like. You want to do it now?
Pretty much when I do the last 10 minutes of the show, we dedicate that to letting the guests say whatever they want to say.
Perfect. I definitely got something. Brandon, you see it real good? You see all of it, Brandon? A shout out to him.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so you hear me? Everything good?
Everything's good.
All right, so for the last 10 minutes of the show, we're gonna let you run the show and we're gonna let you talk to the people. And before you go ahead and start whatever you about to say, I want to read off a couple of the comments to everybody.
Okay. Cool.
From everybody. Stacy also said Martin Luther King. More in the comments. Shout out to More. She said Ravens fly. And she was saying water doesn't look like Sandy Point. in Mexico or Cancun where you been at.
No
Yeah,
jellyfish either.
no jellyfish. So yeah, that's all. That's all from me. I want to go ahead and give you the floor and let you be able to say whatever you guys say. End out the show how you want to end it out.
Cool. Perfect timing. Thank you. Yeah, because tonight we are talking about mental health a little bit. And one of the things, because I say I don't suffer from mental health, but your mother, of course, Joyce Mason was on last week. She expressed how she deals with, and she suffered with mental health challenges. And so some of the questions I just want to throw out there, because somebody might be saying, you, I suffer with mental health challenges. And because I've been around it for a long time, I know symptoms of it. So I'll ask the question, what triggers you? What's that one thing that really gets you heated? Remember I said in the past, I had anger issues. It was my father. So he triggered me. So just think about that. When you think about it, this could be a mental health matter. It really could be if that one thing continuously triggers you. And so let's say, here's an example. Your girl comes to you and says she's pregnant. Your answer, let's say you could say, oh my God, I'm not ready to be a father. This is going to ruin my life. Right? That could be your response. Or you could be saying, oh my God, I wasn't ready for this. But this could be a blessing for my life. That's the difference. A mental health challenge, one of the ways you know, it either energizes you or it paralyzes you. So if something comes up and you get paralyzed, I can't function, I'm ready to explode, I'm a ticking time bomb, you may have some mental health challenges, and there's nothing wrong with that. You have to acknowledge that I have something. I wanted to do a little scenario for y'all real quick. I'm gonna mute the camera for a second and come right back. Can I do that, Brian, or you got to do it?
No, you want me to mute you?
Let's block the video for a second.
Hold on. Yeah, let's see what he got cooking up, y'all. See what he got cooking up. All right, welcome back. What we do? Okay.
All right. So I went up, got my O's gear on, right? You could be an O's fan. You're like, let's go O's. All that, right? But no, well, before we get there, we're gonna win the championship. We division champs. Yeah. We all excited, right? I'm just coming from a coach's perspective. But then life happens. And something might cause your life to flop. And when that happens, that trigger kicks in. Remember we were talking about? So it didn't go the way you wanted and it started flopping. That could bring about a split personality. Y'all see the two different? I don't know if y'all can see it good. You could be one way and then the next you could be another way, right? What happened to the yay and division champs and all that? Your whole mood then changed. Now you're entering to the dark side. You're still an Oreo fan, but you're on the dark side now. And so I'm making the point to say we get into that dark side sometimes, and it's dangerous. That's a dangerous place. And one of the worst things to do when you're dealing with some mental health challenges, I always say it's a dangerous place to be alone with your own thoughts. Think about that. The most dangerous place in the world, pretty much, to be alone with your own thoughts when you're in a dark place. So get out of that dark place and go find somebody with some light. Somebody that's going to help you get out of that darkness. Because if you stay in there, you're going to end up hurting yourself, hurting somebody else, or doing something that you don't want to do. So I'm highly recommending that if you're dealing with any type of symptoms, it overwhelms you every time. It paralyzes you. You are not yourself anymore. You're outside of yourself. Seek some help with that. I watched my wife deal with the mental health challenges. Bryant is a witness. My son Antoine as well. We all lived in the house with her. She did not know what was wrong with her. We did not know what was wrong with her. We're all sitting around trying to talk and help her, but we couldn't. I was not equipped to help her. I didn't have a clue. So let's say you know somebody like that. It's not you. You know somebody like that, and all y'all do is have confrontations over and over and over. Try to get that person in front of somebody like my wife, because she can tell her story and they can relate to it. They'll accept it. Me trying to tell her what's wrong with her wasn't being accepted. Right? You know what I'm talking about. She didn't want to hear anything that we were saying to her because we didn't understand. Y'all don't know what's wrong. Y'all don't understand. We got that a lot. And you're going to get that from people. So I'm highly recommending that you're having issues or you know someone that's having issues. Don't turn a blind eye to that, because those are the people. I'm not saying the one you're thinking about, but sometimes those situations are the ones that are shooting up schools or doing things to themselves. And then I wish I would have. I should have. We go down that road. Do it now. I have this little quadrant thing on the paper that I always refer people to. This is a little sidebar. It says, here's what people know about you. You know, I'm a male, black, whatever. Here's what people don't know about you. People don't know how competitive I am. They may not know that. Then it says, here's what you know that people know about you. They know I'm a coach. They know I'm a Christian man. But here's the big one right here, number 4. Here's what you don't know that people know about you. And some of us are living a life and people know you have issues, but you don't know that they know. And we got to step in and help, y'all. I'm just leaving it like that. Step in if you're a true friend, if you are true to that person, and be true to that person and say, I see something here. Is everything okay? And if they answer, yeah, I'm okay, but then you can just say, can we have a conversation? Talk about some of the things you're seeing. You're not yourself. It seems like you're a little over the top on certain issues, things like you may have to have that conversation, because you never know what somebody's thinking. And they may be thinking about harming themselves or harming someone else. So that's it for me right now. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you all. Please seek that help if you need it.
What you do when people don't, when you ask somebody what's wrong and they don't want to tell you what the problem is.
So we got a question. Cabral
Okay.
wants to know, what do you do when you ask somebody, well, like you know something is wrong with somebody, but they not telling you what's wrong with them. Like, what do you
Okay.
do? But you care about them and you want to help them, but
Right. That's why I say get them in front of somebody like my wife, because they are equipped to deal with it a little better. A lot of times the people closest to you don't open up. It'll be somebody, a stranger, an outsider, that they'll open up to more. So get them in front of somebody like my wife, Jam Coaching. Get in touch with Bryant. He can connect them, and it's all confidential. So, got to start somewhere. And she can refer them even further.
You got any more questions? All right.
Thanks for the question, though. Thank you.
Yeah, so man, thank you for your answer. Thank you for all of the people that's been on here with us too. And another thing that we like to do before we get up out of here is we like to ask the guests, like, so what do you think about New Era 410 podcast? How did you feel about this episode? What did you like about it? Would you come back? Like, just give us a little nugget of how you feel about it.
Oh, I enjoyed it, definitely. I've been on podcasts before. It wasn't a video; it was a radio podcast, and just this is different. I like the interaction, because the one I did, it was just me and my wife just answering the host questions. But this was questions and comments, feedback, and all that. So this was a little different. I like it. Just keep it going. Keep getting guests on to talk about important topics.
Yeah, because Cabria just mentioned, you feel me? She said she think mental health is definitely a great topic, and this
Yeah,
is why we do this every Wednesday.
yeah.
Yeah, so my mom talked about postpartum and stuff like that in the last episode. So, we us guys, we don't really know too much about it, but I
Hmm.
definitely be all ears, or you like you said, get people in the right place.
That's probably discussing that.
Yeah, we us men, and that's what. Before we get off, like I want you to be able to be a little vulnerable and tell people about some of the things that maybe without getting too deep into details, but what are some of the things that people talk about? Like, if I can mention, like, I feel like one thing a lot of people don't know about you is you've been shot before.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't know that about you, and not to like say your business all out loud, but I know But a lot of people don't know that. Cabray in the background right now, like, stop playing. A lot of people don't know. Like, would you like to?
I didn't even know that.
J Rock said he didn't even know either. Would you like to like
He's
talk a little
supposed to
bit?
know. No, that's not a private thing. I do share that because that's one of the things that propelled me to get my life together. Like I said, I was the party. I was a DJ having a party at my house. We had over 100 people at a house party, and a couple people got in there that didn't belong. I had a cousin that escorted them out, and because it's my house, there was a commotion going on. I went to the front door. As soon as I reached to the door, bullet was coming in. So if my arm wasn't here, the bullet was here, right in my heart. And that was a wake up call for me. So people will wonder why I go hard for God like I do, because I understand how He spared me. He left me here for a reason. And so I'm glad you brought that up, because don't wait till you get to that point to pursue Him. He had to show me that way. Arm was broken in a cast for 8 weeks, all the way up to my shoulder. You don't want to go down that route. But that one, that's a definite. I'll never forget that day. And I just thank God that He saved me. I wasn't saved. I wasn't married, anything yet. And I was just living life, doing what I do. It could have been gone at age 21.
Definitely thank you for sharing that little nugget of vulnerability. We always, oh, it's okay, wipe the tears. I see you.
No,
It's
that wasn't the tear at all.
okay.
The tear happened when it happened.
Right. Yeah, but we want to give you the floor. Is anybody you want to shout out? Is anybody you want to give, a thank you to, or a special shout out to your mom, your wife? You feel me?
I
Your
always
favorite.
wanted to give a shout out to my wife, because it was because of her I'm doing what I'm doing with my rap session. She inspired me. I watched her work with the women, and it's just something that's inside of me. Said, look, why aren't we doing this for men? So we're coming up this March to be 2 years, and like I said, guys, you can get on anytime. It's on Zoom. All you do is click on the link and join us every first, third Monday, and we have real conversation that men need to have. Be real conversation. Stuff y'all don't want to ask right now because there's some women on here.
Oh yeah, so I was asked a specific question too. My guy Alex. We talk all the time.
Okay.
We talk Ravens and Orioles. Alex would like to know if you can bless Straight Talk Sports Podcast. I had to make sure I said that right.
Okay.
Straight Talk. He want to
Sure.
know if you can bless the podcast. I mean, bless the sports podcast with an episode. What we do is on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays before the game. We have our predictions of who gonna win.
Okay.
Kind of like what you do in the pool, like what we think about this team and with this game. And if
Okay.
you do it on a Thursday with us, we do the whole picks for the whole Sunday, and then we go
Okay.
over the picks afterwards. But he wanted me to definitely ask you if you can get on the episode. He would like to get you on there because
No doubt.
he know more about the Orioles stuff than all of us. Like, he's all the way up there with the Orioles.
Oh man, no doubt, no doubt. Hey, but I forgot to say one thing tonight. For those that don't know, a coach is more than a person that gets you to do better in sports. The word coach really is an old word, meaning it talks about getting something of value from one place to another. So as a coach, we all are coaches. If you have children, if you have family, it's our job to take that thing of value from where it is to where it needs to be. So don't think that just because I do sports that I'm the only one that's really a coach. No, anybody that's dealing with something of value and you're trying to get it to the right place, you're a coach as well. Want to put that in there.
And Team Butcher Productions, he also said the rap sessions are the best. He said Coach Howard helped me so much with the rap session. So shout out to Team Butcher Productions. Do you know who that is exactly?
I think that's Jerron. That's my man Jerron. Yeah, appreciate that, Jerron. Yeah. He's been faithful since the beginning.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And before we get off of here, man, we always like to thank you so much. Like we got this little thing we do, you know, that little clap. Thank you so much for joining the episode. Is there any way that people can like follow you, or how can people get in contact with you, like maybe mails to be able to hit you up and things of that nature?
Yeah, I'm not large like that, but I don't mind sharing my personal email if somebody wants to hit me up on it. It's H as in Harry, L as in Larry, M as in Maple, HLM, A as in Apple, S as in Sam, HLMAS at yahoo.com. Just put in the subject box something from, your podcast or something. Just identify yourself that way, so I'm not just deleting it thinking it's solicitation.
Yeah, if anybody want to hit him up, hashtag New Era 410 Podcast, so he know who y'all are.
Right.
And he said, yeah, Team Butcher Production said, yeah, it's me with the laughing emoji.
Yeah, I know that day. Yeah, Jerron, he's good people.
Yeah, man, definitely shout out to him, man. And once again, thank you again. And is there anything you want to say before we go off?
Hey, best thing ever happened to me in my life was getting a relationship with Jesus. I wasn't a real man until I did that. I don't think that I got to get my life together first and then come to him. No, you come to him and he helps you to get your life together. It's the other way around.
All right, man. And if you ain't subscribed to New Era 410 Podcast, that's crazy about you. And we out, man. Appreciate y'all. Love everybody out there. Make sure y'all have a great evening. Take care of them kids, man. Cook that dinner. Get them kids ready for school, and y'all get ready for work tomorrow. We out, man. We gonna holler at everybody. Thank you again, Coach Howard, for joining us. Hope you have a great night as well.
All right, love you.
Love you too.
She like go crazy, go crazy, go crazy, go crazy. When I'm in it, I go crazy. That little talking shit don't fade. In the game, and I feel like McGrady. Telling myself,